Hello, two of a kind sports fans. Welcome to this evening show. We apologize for the delay, but we are here. We are live. We are with you. Thank you so much for joining us. This is the show where passion meets the game. I am your co host, Denise.
And I am your co-host, D'Nyce.
And tonight we will be doing a recap of our Washington Commanders preseason game loss to the Detroit Lions. We will be discussing our joint practice up in Baltimore with the Ravens. And we will be discussing DJ Humphries, our newest acquisition at offensive tackle. We just signed him to a 1-year contract. So, D'Nyce,
What's up,
which do
Denise?
you want to talk about first? Do you want to talk about the Lions or do you want to talk about the Ravens first?
Neither one of them was good, but I will go with the lesser of the two evils. Let's talk about the Detroit Lions.
Okay. And good evening, Daryl. Thank you so much for joining us and thank you
Big
for your
Daryl, what's
patience
up,
in
Daryl?
waiting for us. So, okay, I had to catch a recap of
Mm-hmm.
the Detroit Lions game. Uh I did not like what I saw.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the score was Detroit 17, the final score, Detroit 17, Commanders 13. Now, here is what happened in terms of the Commander side and scoring. Joshua Josephs got a touchdown as a fumble recovery.
From
So
Amik Robinson. Yes, sir. Amik
that
Robinson
was nice.
calls
So
that.
that was
Yes.
nice to see. And then Drew Stevens, our
Mm-hmm.
kicker, kicked the extra point, so that put us up 7. We had 7 points. The Detroit Lions scored 7 points in the first quarter. The second quarter, nobody scored. Third quarter, we're living off of our kicker Drew Stevens' foot.
Mm-hmm.
So he kicked a 27-yard field goal in the third.
Mm-hmm.
But the Lions scored a touchdown. Williams for them scored a touchdown. And then in the fourth quarter, again, here we are, Drew Stevens being the scorer. He kicked a 32-yard field goal.
Mm-hmm.
But the Detroit Lions responded. They kicked their kicker Jake Bates kicked a 37-yard field goal. So the Commanders scored 13 points.
Mm-hmm.
6 of those points came from our kicker, and then 6 of the other points came from Joshua Josephs.
Mm-hmm.
So I was not impressed with that. And let me cover Mr. Jayden Daniels. He played for one drive, one series, and they went 3 and out. He
If
got
that's what you call a
sacked,
series.
and he
If that's
threw,
what you call a series, yeah.
if that's what you want to call it, and he threw an incompletion. The one pass he threw was incomplete. And then they
Yes.
were off cart, they were off the field. And Ethan Kaliak did seem to impress some folks, and he did
Mm-hmm.
seem to make a solid showing. He was 11 for 14 in terms of completions for a total of 162 yards. Now, the guy that I was praising in preseason game number 1,
Mm-hmm.
Robert Henry Jr., uh, committed a fumble on a kickoff.
Yeah.
So that was not a good look. And
Yeah. He did
because of
something that you
that,
never
the
want to do.
Lions, yes, and the Lions were able to take possession of the ball and run the clock down at the end of the game, giving the Detroit Lions a 17-13 point victory.
Mm-hmm.
So, but our defense, I did like our defense because Maurice Hurst had 2 sacks, and TJ, how do you pronounce his name? Magarianianga.
Yeah.
I'm
The
sorry. I will.
international
I will
player.
get it. I'll get it next week. But TJ got a sack, and John
Mm-hmm.
Baptiste got a sack, and
Yes.
Robertson got a sack. So the defense got 5 sacks against the Detroit Lions, and Quan Martin got an interception. So,
Yes. For
you
the
know,
second interception of the preseason, Quan Martin.
yes. So, D'Nyce, what are your insights? Because that's what happened. I
Yeah.
told you how I feel about it. So, what's up with you on your end?
Well, you from that game, what you did see is some bright spots from the defense. What I did notice that when you did have Amik Robertson in, um, jo- Jonathan Joseph, played pretty well, and Jean Baptiste. I did like what I seen from the defense. Now, from this offense, which has been an issue to me pretty much all training camp, with Jayden his 3-play series, um, you see that the Detroit Lions were just blitzing us from everywhere. And even when Ethan Cadillac Manis came in, it was the same thing. They were drilling him. So what I'm seeing is I'm seeing going to our, we go into our next opponent. It's the same thing that's happening with this offensive line. We have to get this offensive line together because if we don't, Daryl, what is going to happen is it's going to be a success for a doomed season. I hope AP got something in his sleeve after Sundays. When they start making cuts on Sunday, but we need to get this offensive line. I prefer a strong center in here because with Tyler, with Nick Allegretti, even if he does come back, I'm afraid, Denise, that calf won't hold up. He's been out pretty much all training camp with a strained calf, and as we know, a lot of times calf issues become Achilles issues. So I'm very worried about that. Brandon Coleman seems to be holding up at the left tackle position. I need better play from Joshua Conley, and I need to see Chris Paul get back to the form that he was last year. So in this game, Denise, it was not good. And I can tell that Dan Quinn was even ticked off because, as you've seen, Monday, which is supposed to have been an off day for them, they end up practicing because he didn't like what he saw.
Yes.
So uh, that game was a hard game to watch, Denise. Like I said, you did see bright spots, and one thing I can say is I do like what I see from Coach Durante Jones, even though we're having issues stopping the run. But I am liking what I see far as just pressures. You're seeing blitzes come from different angles. When the last time have you seen when we've had a cornerback blitz? And that's how Amik Robertson actually got that fumble where Jonathan Joseph ended up recovering it in the end zone. So I like bright spot is Devontae Jones, but this offense is not looking good right now, Denise.
Okay. Okay. Now, I am looking carefully and
Mm-hmm.
taking this preseason game against the Lions in combination with the joint practice. Hello, Joe Harton 7934.
What's up? How you?
Let's see. Joe Harton says we shouldn't have this issue with the front line after having this problem last year. No excuse. Have
Right.
we not learned? And
No.
Joe Horton, I totally agree with you. We should not have this problem. And let me be a little sarcastic for a moment here.
Mm-hmm.
Should I do a disclaimer or can I just say what I want to say, D'Nyce?
Say what you want to say, Denise. No
Okay.
disclaimer.
You know, uh, David Blau was touted as being one of the great minds
Mm-hmm.
of this organization, of this Washington Commanders organization, which was the explanation for them taking him as an assistant to a position coach and promoting him all over the heads of other people to make him the offensive coordinator. Okay. And Dan Quinn, our head coach, said that, another team expressed some interest in David Blau. And he said, no, we don't want you to go. So he said he gave David Blau added responsibilities that went higher than his position. He gave him added exposure that went higher than the position he was holding in order to groom him, in order to prepare him, to train him to be the offensive coordinator.
Mm-hmm.
So I am thinking that since we have this genius, this great football mind, surely, surely he must come up with a solution for this O line, for this problem on offense, because we're seeing already that this offense is not being very productive. They're not being very dynamic. And, while some may say, well, David Blau is not showing, all what he's going to do in the season. Guess what? Neither is Durante Jones over on defense, but we see Durante Jones is getting production from this defensive core.
Yeah,
David
looks
Blau
definitely
has
different than
work to
last
do.
year.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
Now I was saying that defense you already see it looks very different from last year, just for us the energy and just them communicating and making plays out there.
Well, that's what Durante Jones was hired for. And
Absolutely.
it is also my understanding that David Blau was slid up a greased pole on the career ladder because we also wanted different results on our offense as much as we wanted some different results on our defense coming off of a 5-12 season. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay, so I am looking for Mr. David Blau to turn this around and take the needed corrective action. Now, what I want to ask you, D'Nyce,
Hmm.
is in hindsight, okay, review mirror, hindsight being 2020, did we make the right move getting rid of Tyler Biotic at center? Because the position that keeps coming up is center, center, center. Now, we drafted Matt Golban as center. We drafted
Hmm.
him. We picked up Julian Good Jones, and the guy who we were depending on, Allegretti, has been hurt with a calf injury. So,
Hmm.
what say you about this center position now in retrospect? Do you still feel like Tyler Biotic should have gone?
Well, I was okay with the Tyler Biotish being gone, but what I would have liked for Adam Peters to have done was to actually with Linderbaum. I do understand Linderbaum, who ended up who chose the Los Angeles Raiders over us. He got 20 million. Now I do, from what I've heard, that Adam Peters and him supposed to have some type of handshake deal, but once the Raiders jumped out there with that 20 million, he was the big free agent center. So Tyler Biadasz, as far as last year, Denise, I was not pleased with his play. So I think they seen exactly what you and I were saying last year, because a lot of times he was getting pushed in the backfield. Not to mention with him going to the San Diego Chargers, Tyler Biadasz is out for the season with a torn ACL. So you know, and if we speaking in hindsight, you know, it's you got Nick Allegretti that's hurt, and you got Biotish. But what I would have liked to seen is for Adam Peters and DQ to have been more uh, ahead of the game. You know what I mean? I think that they always preaching competition. Why wasn't there any competition at this center position? And that's the part that I'm very afraid of, because I understand you're trying to wait for the cuts to come up, but then that's having that person come in, in here late, got to learn the calls and learning the plays. And I think this could have been addressed earlier during mini camps, earlier even in training camp. So I don't know, Denise. So right now, I think, like I said, Tyler Biadasz is out, and then Nick Allegretti is hurt. So I don't know. You know, I just wasn't pleased with Tyler Badass, as DQ like to call him. I wasn't. I was not happy with his play last year. So right now, I mean, it's kind of tossed in the air, but we need to bring some type of veteran center in here, and let's have a true competition.
See, yeah, these are things that should have been, resolved already. Navanda, hello, darling. Hello,
Hey,
Navanda. Navanda
Navanda.
says she's popping in to say good evening to us. Thank you to Everkind Sports. Continue this good journalism. Thank you so, so much, Navanda.
Thank you.
And please,
Thank
you
you.
continue to support us. Thank you for popping in. We know you're busy. We hope you have a wonderful school year educating our youth. Your job is very
That's
important,
right.
and we appreciate you for that. So thank you so very much, Navanda. We also have Mr. Me in the
Mees,
house.
what's up, Mees?
Oh, he's gonna start. He's
Oh, he
gonna
got a
start.
lot to
Mommy
say.
5 had the center released. Remember, so
Mm-hmm.
Mies Mies is claiming, he's alleging that Jayden had Tyler Biotic booted out of the organization. Let's see what
Me,
else he has to
Mees,
say. He
even
says,
even with
"Thank
the
you,
Campbell Soup
Denise. Thank you,
commercials.
Mies. Thank you, thank you." So, but I tell you what, I'm seeing management here
Mm-hmm.
fix things that are not broken. We were fine at the kicker position. We were fine. Okay. Jake Moody is a proven commodity. Jake Moody came in during a time where we were having problems in the kicking position. He solved that problem. And
Mm-hmm.
yes, there was competition. And yes, according to them, Drew Stevens won out. But Drew Stevens is an unproven commodity himself. Okay, so he's done well in practice and he is doing good in this preseason. That is great. That is fine. But he has
Yes.
yet to help us in a regular season game. But I'm thinking he will. Okay, I'm thinking he will. But here we have this problem at the center position. Now, yes, we wanted Allegretti. He's injured, and injuries are part of the game. But then you get in, what's his name? Julian Good Jones, and you said he's not good enough. Good is not
No,
good
not.
enough.
Yeah, I wanted him to be best Jones, and he has not been best. Not
And
at
and
all.
then we drafted Matt Goldman, and so it seems like he's going to need some development. So I can't really hold him to the fire as much as I would anyone else because he is a rookie who was just drafted.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm looking at Adam Peters, our general manager, side eyed. Okay, I'm side-eyeing him over this. We know where we've had problems, and we know where the areas that we need to address. The kicker was not one of them. So while I don't begrudge Drew Stevens getting this opportunity, we were fine at the kicker position. Now, we've been hearing people talk about the center position, and most recently, like today, we heard a lot of negative feedback about the performance of the O-line. And see, that's already giving Jayden a built-in excuse. It's already forming, because if he does not have a good O-line, he can't perform. He can't
Mm-hmm.
be the Jedi. He can't be the star quarterback. He can't be all of that if he doesn't have a solid front line. So if he's always running for his life, if he's always under pressure, that is not going to bode well for this team this season. And getting back to one of Mies's points that he made multiple times last episode, Mies pointed out that, when we play a good team, we get exposed. And that shouldn't still be happening. I don't mind us having different problems, but for us, like Joe Horton said, for us to keep having the same problems, we need solutions here. So,
quick, fast, and hurry.
I'm not quite pleased with what is going on. However, I do have a clip that I'd like to share, a video clip of Mikey Sainristil. He in practice, in this joint practice, made a nice play. Let's take a look at that, shall we?
Yes.
So that was Mikey Sanderstill picking off the Baltimore Ravens QB, okay, in the joint practice. So that was nice to see. That was quite encouraging. That was quite
Yes.
encouraging. So, uh, in terms of what I am looking for in this upcoming preseason game against the Ravens, our defense needs to remain aggressive. Okay, they need to remain aggressive. They got 5 sacks um, against the Lions, so hopefully they can do some of that against the Ravens. Um, I definitely want to see more special teams play in terms of kickoff and punt returns. My man Henry, you know, getting him fumbling was
Yeah.
just not what I want to see, because I've been
Yeah.
talking for a while about how we need to be a threat on kickoff and punt returns. We need to, at least have some type of a chance of taking it to the house on kickoff and punt returns so we can put some points on the board. But if we're putting guys out there and they are fumbling, that is an area that definitely needs to be addressed. And against the Detroit Lions, in terms of yardage, Katron Allen had 10 carries for 30 yards. So he was, I guess he was playing consistently. But when you give the ball to someone, 10 carries, 30 yards, that's three yards per carry you're averaging.
Mm-hmm.
We need 4 to 6. We need 4 to 6 for you to move that needle. So,
Yes.
yeah, there is work to do. And Dan Quinn in his presser today, being the nice, even keeled guy that he is, he didn't
Mm-hmm.
express, because this is the preseason, I guess he didn't express much disappointment or anger and all the kind of things I'm feeling. But he did say that he is looking for better execution.
Right.
He wants, which of course looking for we're all looking for better execution.
Yeah.
So, we thought that's what we were going to get, particularly from the great football mind of one Mr. David Blau. So we're going to have to see how all that goes. We're going to have to see how all that goes. Now, let's see. Joe has a comment here. Let me see. In the Lions game, on several plays, Lions outside would get through as if nobody was there. That
That is
outside
correct.
coverage was weak. And thank you, Joe Horton. That is a good observation from 7934. That is a good
Mm-hmm.
observation. The outside coverage was weak, and we cannot afford to have weak coverage outside, inside, or B-side, okay? Because we have tough teams that we are competing against, and they are not going to allow us to, slip. Where we
Yeah.
show weakness, they're going to exploit that.
Yeah. And those first 6 games, the teams that we're playing are also running teams that can pass very well. And that's one thing I have seen during these last 2 preseason games, that our team is getting gashed between the tackles. So that's an area that I do understand. We haven't had all of our starting lineup people, but however, um, you do see the adjustment as the game goes along, that they kind of start stopping the run. But we have to, on the defensive side of the ball, we have to solidify that run defense, because if not, the Eagles, the Cowboys, even week 3 when you go to London, um, I'm sorry, that's against the week 3
Seattle
is against
Seahawks.
Seattle Seahawks. These are running
Yes.
teams. Even when you go to London, play Indianapolis, they can run the football very well. So that's something. Even though our defense is showing that we are capable. You heard the word, capable of making plays, far as with the scheme. But if we don't shore up that run defense, we're going to be in a lot of trouble. And let me ask you this question, Denise, and I'm gonna ask the chat as well. Do you think this may be the year that maybe the defense, which was the 32nd ranked defense last year, do you think that this defense can carry this offense this year? Because as we see right now, the offensive line is not together. Now, they may develop some cohesion as the season goes along and get better, but do you think that this defense can carry this offense until it starts forming together?
I will start off and I will say no.
Yeah, okay,
and
that's
and
fair.
and they and they should not be expected to carry this offense. We
Hmm.
have to play complementary football. So, when you take a chance on, a young guy in your organization, that young
Hmm.
guy has to be dynamic and he has to come out kicking like judo and Jackie Chan. He has to come
Hmm.
out, making plays, making a difference, showing us something. So for him to be able to come out and rely on Durante Jones's formerly ranked number 32 defense, grossly unfair. I don't think it's a reasonable expectation, and I don't see it happening. But we have Leonard Skins. Leonard Skins is here with
Kirby
us.
Curve. What's up,
Kirby,
Curve?
Kirby,
Hey everybody, how you doing?
Oh, I'm doing
we're
well.
doing
We're doing
great.
well.
Well, I tell you, I'm not worried at all. It's preseason games; they're not going to show anything anyway. Very few starters are playing, and to me, it's just uh, it's more of getting the second, third stringers a chance to show what they have to try to make the 53-man roster, in the practice squad. So um, I still believe that we're going to walk into over there in Philadelphia and start plucking feathers out of them Eagles.
I hope
And
so. I hope
yeah,
so. Means,
well,
what do you have to? Oh, were you finished, Kirby, or are you still going?
well, um, JD5 hasn't taken the year off. He's been practicing with the wide receivers and the running backs and all. And I am very confident. I have a lot of faith in him and the coaching staff, and I think we're going to be hard to score against. I think we're going to get a lot of turnovers for a change on defense, and I think we're going to light it up on the scoreboard. I really do.
Huh?
I've,
But how are we
yeah,
going to do that, Kirby, if you don't? I mean, this offensive line has not been executing at all during preseason. Even when you hear of today's joint practice, you still hearing a lot of negative things coming about
yeah.
this offensive line. So Jayden can't
Well,
throw the ball if you don't have no protection.
that's true. That's true. That's very true. What you're saying is true. But the problem is that they aren't really trying in preseason. Is what I'm saying. I mean, for the running game, he'll be handing the ball off or throwing little drop off passes or maybe bubble screens, screen passes and stuff like that. But
Right. So
we
Kirby.
got we
So
we got
what
we
I'm a little
we got
concerned about that. I'm
we
sorry,
got
Kirby.
two wide receivers that they can't double cover both of them. And
But you got to
okay,
get time. He got to have time to throw the ball. And right now, we're seeing defenders in the backfield before he can
I,
even set up. Even that's
I just
the run game opens up the pass game, and vice versa. If we can't get any protection, how can Jayden get the ball to his playmakers? Do you want to see this
because we
offense look like a dink and dunk offense all year? And right now, that's the way this offensive line has been looking. That's what you're going to see. You're not going to see a lot of explosive plays. You're going to see a lot of dink and dunks. That's boring football to me.
I don't totally agree with that because what I was getting at when you have the receivers that we have, there's no way that they're going to take a chance and have 8 up there at the line of scrimmage to stop the run. So we will be able to run the ball.
Oh,
I
that's
hope
that's
so.
very encouraging.
I
Okay.
hope so because I don't have the same faith you have right now in that line,
Oh,
Kirby.
really? I'm
I don't.
surprised,
The offense,
D-Nice.
the offensive line right now, from what I'm seeing, has not looked good. I mean, if you go to even to the reports today of the joint practice with the Baltimore Ravens, that was the most thing that stuck out from everyone. Is
Yeah.
this offensive line? It's inconsistent play. I
Yeah, well,
understand that even the first 4 weeks of the season is basically an extension of the preseason, but I'm not seeing good football right now on this offensive side. So how I would love to see what Chig can get the ball, Terry. I love Stefan and Antonio Williams, but if Jayden is worried about somebody being in his lap the whole time, that doesn't that's going to have him anticipating and throwing. His timer will be off, and he will be trying to me press too much, and that's what we had last year. It looks like last
well,
year when he had to be Superman.
well, JD5 is an exceptional young man. He reads the field, reads the defense quickly, gets rid of the ball quickly, and I mean, he's as accurate as you can get.
Hmm.
And what I'm saying with the addition of Diggs, that that they not only have to worry about McLaurin, but they have to worry about Diggs too. So they can't overload the box to stop the run.
Okay, well, we will see about that. Mies, what say you, darling? Thank you for joining us.
Hey guys, can you guys hear me?
Yes,
Yes.
Mies.
Awesome. So D-Nice, I guess my prescriptions have been working on you because I don't hear 12-5 no more. I don't hear it. So let's get started with the guy, Mommy Five. Okay, let's start with him. When he came out there, I'm glad he showed up. Glad he put the pads on. I'm not trying to get too overhyped over preseason whether he looked good or bad, but
Right.
he just looks so. He doesn't have any moxie to him. He has no intensity to him. He looks scared. I mean, Curry's talking about how he's so accurate in that stuff. Well, in game time, he threw the ball in the dirt. He went 0 for 1 and took a sack. Now, you guys can blame the O line and all that stuff, but I'm looking at his body language in that setting, and not only because the organization's coddling him, so they're worried like he's going to get hurt and that stuff. So he played like that too. That sack he took, the play was dead. They didn't even take him
Yeah.
to the ground. And so my thing is that he needs to go play the next preseason game and dominate so that he gets a little bit of confidence to him because all these other quarterbacks like Bo Nix threw for a touchdown, drove down the field. Jordan Love drove down the field and scored a touchdown, threw a touchdown. These starting quarterbacks are cooking one series and then they're done for the rest of the thing. Jayden cannot go into week one with that performance underneath his belt.
I
That
agree.
that was bad. And Denise might be right. Cali McManus might be the guy. I mean, he's lighting them up. He's really lighting them up. And you know, Jaden's gonna get hurt again. It's just reality. If he keeps playing like this, he plays scared, he's gonna get hurt again. And this whole we got two wide receiver stuff. There's two cornerbacks too. All right, on each side of the ball. So there's that as well. And like I said, we're gonna give a lot of credit to this guy, but how come in 2024 it wasn't just only him? The offensive line was there, the defensive line was there, the defense was good, everything was clicking. So the fact of the matter is we can't make excuses for number five. He's the franchise guy. He gets all the praise, but we can't give him any criticism. I mean, come on now. That's pathetic. He looked pathetic out there. Now let's bounce back because I'm not gonna. He looked good against the Ravens. I saw a couple good balls to him, but that's in
Yeah.
practice with
Yeah.
t-shirts and shorts. When underneath the lights, he threw a dirt ball. It was pathetic, and then he doesn't go out there again. I mean, come on now.
Yeah.
He's got
Well,
to
some of
get
that some of that is from the coach, with DQ, and I wish to me, Mees, what I wish DQ would have said, you know what, I didn't like the execution what I seen from the first team offense. Go back out there and give me another series, and then if
absolutely,
you look good, get him up off the field. But
absolutely. Do
you
you
can't
think he
get into
plays
no
next
rhythm.
game?
No, I do not. I do not think he plays against the Ravens Friday night. I think this is pretty much a dress rehearsal for the few roster spots that's left on the team. I think you'll see Sam Hartman and you'll see Ethan Cadillac Manis pretty much more, for this game.
So if
But
this is his
I would like
last
to see,
game, yeah,
yeah,
are you not worried that he's going to go in week 1 with that last performance that we saw?
a little bit. Yes, I am worried. But then the only good thing I'm a little bit optimistic about it, Mees, is because then we'll start game planning. So they talk about, okay, he has a lot of reps in practice. He's thrown the ball a lot. I'm hoping that does translate over to week 1, but it hasn't in preseason because of the lack of play. I am a little worried about that. And I just hope I don't see in week 1 against the Eagles what I'm seeing right now from him or from the offensive line, in general.
Yeah,
Well,
I like you, D-Nice, because at least from a Commanders fan, at least when you see bad, you'll tell bad. And a lot of your Commanders fan base, they can't do that. And it's just going to set the team up for failure. It's going to leave the
Yeah.
fan base disappointed. So let's be realistic, and I'll
well,
give you another chance to take back your 12-5 statement.
well,
I'm still sticking with it, bro.
the number
I'm gonna
one,
stick with
the,
it.
the number one goal was to get through the preseason without losing a lot of players to injury, and
Well,
they've
so
been
far we're banged up.
successful.
We're banged up, so that's hard to
We ain't,
evaluate.
we ain't that banged up.
Well, every time I look at that report and you showing all these starters on there, like the best ability is availability. How are you going to see our offense or defense starters get any type of,
Well, well,
in type of
well. You're
groove
gonna
if he's
see it.
not playing?
You're gonna see it when it means something, when it counts.
That's not
I
what
hope
history
so. I
says.
hope so.
That's not what
Yeah.
history says. Every time you
Well,
play the
I
Eagles healthy these last 2 years, they were 3-1 before
uh,
that last game. They were 3-1 against you
well,
guys in that last game.
well. You like to sit up there and talk about how scared JD5 is and all this stuff, which is
Yeah,
not true.
yeah, he is
Okay,
scared. That's why he runs behind his mom.
nah.
And then you know who else is scared is Mr. Afraid Terry, because in big
Yeah.
time games too,
Well,
he's very quiet
well.
too. He's
Let
very quiet too as well. So yeah,
let's
Afraid
just
Terry
see
as
how.
well.
Let's just see what happens when we play the Eagles and it counts.
So
Yeah,
Kirby,
and
do you
but
think
what's
against the
history said?
Do you think against the Ravens, Kirby? You think you're going to see Jayden or any of the starters for that matter?
Very few. I do think that the offensive line, the starting offensive line, definitely needs to play. To get in sync. Because running game, you have to have a guard that's able to pull, and you got down blocking and drive blocking, and you got the center has to. He's the quarterback of the offensive line, and they have to work as one unit. So
Mm-hmm.
so I'm not happy with them either at the present time, but
Oh, okay.
they aren't horrible. I mean, they're mediocre at the present time, but you know, I think our general manager is still looking to get us some good quality help there on our offensive line, because you got to have good guards to have a running game.
Oh, okay. Because I'm seeing what history has told me, and then when the real teams come up to, JN5's door, he doesn't play well, and it's not the O line or anything. It's mainly him, and I'm disappointed in the way he showed up. If he was gonna play like that, I would just tell him to stay at home. Don't even show up to the football arena. Just stay at home. Don't even, because he came out with no intensity. He played scared, and and it's just embarrassing. It's
Well,
not a
means
good
to,
look.
but also too, we know it's a team sport, but we seen a lack of execution from some of the starters. That one play you're speaking of, where Jayden would have got sacked. John Bates just got totally beat by the defensive lineman, and so Jayden didn't even have a chance.
Well, I
So
understand
some
that,
of it is him, but some of it is
but
the
he's
execution
the
of the other
leader.
guys.
He's the leader
This is
though, and
true.
like I said, he gets all the praise. So when you get all the
Yes.
praise, you need to get all the other bad stuff too.
Yeah, you're right. It starts from the quarterback. It starts with the
Yeah,
quarterback
so he
position.
needs to
Like you said, you
re-protect him. That's
glorify it.
another thing in his weaknesses game. Watch this, D-Nice. Watch this throughout the year. His biggest weakness is he cannot read a defense. He finds the first guy he can see and he'll chuck it, or he'll start running. He doesn't go through his progressions. He doesn't pump fake once, pump fake, and then throw it. He's a one-trick pony. And that game against the Vikings proved me right because you asked, why did he throw that screen pass? Because he's a robot. He doesn't be like, oh, there's a guy blitzing off the edge right there. Hold it, take a sack maybe, whatever. He just throws it. He has no pocket awareness. And even in the Giants interview, the guy was asking to replay the play. He couldn't say the play back. Then the coach asked him, where do you throw it in this coverage? He goes, throw a touchdown. Like he doesn't have it in him. And he needs to use this preseason to get the rust. Even if he looked bad, let's say he went 8 for 15, then we could be like, okay, let's get back on the board. Let's get better. Let's do all this stuff. You can't. How are you gonna get better from, drop back one time, took a sack, drop back another time, threw in the dirt, and then he was done for the rest of the game. They're scared about him. They know he's not durable, and I'm telling you, better solve this problem before it becomes a whirlwind. Because without your quarterback, it's over. So maybe you draft another quarterback or you start Callahan soon. I'm telling you, this guy is not the guy. I'm telling you.
I disagree with that, but I mean, I totally respect that. I respect it. I think during the season, once, like I said, once it's more game plan, I think a lot of that you can help him with, chip in the back or with more of a 12, 13 personnel with your tight ends. So we'll see, because in 2020, if you're basing it off of 2025, I can't argue with you on that. It didn't look well. It wasn't efficient. So
I mean, I
hopefully
can
in
base it off
2026 we see.
2024 too. I can base it off
Well,
2024 too.
well, 2024 we led the league in the most sustained drive. So
Yeah,
we
but
wasn't
like
looking
I
scared.
said, go back to your schedule. If you did that, you played the Browns, the Titans, and the Cardinals, and a bunch of non-playoff teams. And then when he played playoff teams, you guys lost.
Nope,
So
we beat Detroit. We went to Detroit. You got to remember
that
that.
was
And we
in the
went in it.
playoffs. Regular
Right, that's what I'm
season,
saying. You're in the
yeah, but
playoffs.
regular season, how many playoff teams did you beat?
I mean, we only can play the schedule that they give us.
That's what I'm
We only can play
talking
the
about.
schedule they give
You
us.
have a bunch of
But
playoff teams on your
but
schedule
but
this
but
year.
when we went to the playoffs that year and played the Detroit Lions, who was heavily favored, what did we do? BTA. We went in there and spanked that butt.
I can make some conspiracy theories about that game because that, like I
Really?
said,
How?
Ben Johnson threw the game to get to Chicago to develop Caleb, and then what happens when
Yeah.
you play Caleb last year? You had number 5. No one was hurt in that game. No Hail Marys either. They beat you guys. And D-Nice also. You think they're going to beat Philadelphia? How
Yes.
do they beat the Philadelphia at Philadelphia?
How do we beat Philadelphia? By going in there and executing. We have to execute. Got to, because if you don't execute, then you're right. The Philly is they are a very sound, strong team as far as we know defensive wise. Another reason why I think we can go in there and beat Philly is because, as I said in the previous shows, they're learning a totally new offense as well. Jalen Hurts is going to be under center more, so this is kind of new. Now I think Philly, as the season goes on, is going to get better. But I love our chances now with both of us having 2 new coordinators on the offensive side. I think that we have the playmakers to go in there to beat Philly. So that's how I think we can beat Philly.
Well, I think we have enough on defense to put up some competition, but we need our offense to be. We need our offense to be tight though. Our offense can't be trying to get it together. They can't be still working off rust and dust. They have to go out and be aggressive and be precise. We need precision from our offense. If our offense is anything less than their best, if they're not precise, it doesn't matter how much our defense plays well. Our defense is not going to shut down the Eagles. They're not doing that. That's not who we are. So even if our defense plays well, which I think they will, our offensive players have to be tight, and that line has to shore up. They have
Yeah.
to create a pocket, hold a pocket, let Jayden do what he needs to do. Give him a few seconds to run through his progressions. Give the receivers, a few seconds to get in position. And that's what it's going to take. Do we have it? We haven't shown it thus far. But hey, no time like the future. So the future for us will be Sunday, September 13th, where we will play our opening game, the season opener in Philadelphia against the Eagles. And look, this game is going to show what we have. It's going to show who we are, because the next team is Dallas. And both of these teams, the Eagles and the Cowboys, pretty much owned us last season. The only reason we got a win from the Eagles last season in the season finale is because the head coach Sirianni sat the starters. If the starters had played, we wouldn't have won that game at all. So, I'm hoping that our offense will switch it up and show us that they can solve their problems, that they can recalibrate, come out with energy, come out with aggression, and be precise. I need precision. Dan Quinn, the head coach, talked about execution, and that's what they have to do. They have to execute. So that's what I'm looking to see against the Eagles. Now, this third game, preseason game against Baltimore, it's going to be what it's going to be. Fortunately, it does not. It doesn't count. Fortunately. So I'm hearing some feedback. I might have to mute somebody. If you're not speaking, please mute yourself, because I'm hearing some. Oh, that took care of it right there. Thank you. Okay, that solved the issue. So thank you so much. But yeah, I'm thinking that our Commanders have a tough road to hoe. So that is my take on it.
Yeah, well, I think we gotta execute, and this offensive line I'm really concerned. I just don't like that we don't. It don't seem like we have a plan. I do understand, like I said before, wait for the cuts, but I just would like to. If we're gonna preach competition, we got to have competition all the way around. And I feel like that competition should have been at the center position from day one, because Nick Allegretti got hurt the very first practice, and he's come back since then. Last week he did practice, but then he's right back out. So you can't get better. The offensive line can't get the calls down together. They can't build any cohesion. So, and I understand that you're trying different pieces, of the playing checkers with the board, but right now what we're doing is not working, and it's not allowing the offense to get any type of rhythm. And that's why I wanted to see this past week against Detroit was, some type of rhythm. As Mees alluded to, just getting in there and if he went 8 for 15, you can say, okay, we got something we building on, and we look, we looked a certain way. But when you go in there only for 3 plays, that is, to me as a fan, that is hard to evaluate. I understand the practice stuff and all that good stuff, but what I've seen these last 2 preseason games, Miami game, it was totally different. But against Detroit, we didn't look ready to play. And I go back to DQ on that. You got to get these guys ready to play. We can't come out the way we looked against Detroit and the way we looked the offense. Certain times against the Ravens in the joint practice today didn't look like they had any energy, and we can't afford that against the Eagles, because if we do, that's going to be a disaster, and we won't beat them week 1 if we're like that. But Mees, I do still think we're going to beat Philly. I do think that.
So that's Caesar. Okay. We have Caesar with us. Caesar, hey, Caesar, welcome. Good evening. How are you, Caesar?
Good evening, everybody.
Hey, Caesar in the house.
What's up? Yeah, I saw a little bit of the game. I was kind of busy, but I did follow it up with some video, and it wasn't pretty. The defense came out; they were laying that lumber.
Yes, they were.
But yeah, it didn't look pretty. But I saw it a couple of times, right? And all I could say is that, we created turnovers, which is nice as a team, right? This is a team game. We created real turnovers, I should say, right? I think, I don't know how many takeaways we had. We had quite a bit. And we scored a
5.
touchdown on one, 5 of them. That's legit.
We had 5 sacks.
Yeah. And the fact is that our defensive backs look pretty decent. I do like that our defensive front was actually putting pressure on there. They were disruptive. They really hurt that pot. I mean, I hate that. Who's number 48? Joseph. I do hate that quarterback did that fake. I ain't gonna lie, he faked me too. I was like, dang,
Joshua Dobbs.
yeah, my man was already downfield. Yeah, so, but still, that was the only mistake that I saw as far as the defense was concerned. Well, one of the few mistakes. JD5, yeah. I mean, this is the reason why I was afraid of him playing this game, because our offensive line is not set. But the matter of fact is that it's okay. I mean, it didn't look pretty, and it's going to look ugly. But the fact is that what we presented was a line that's it's fixable, right? This is not an issue. These aren't really big issues, right? There was protection breakdowns right off the bat, people missing blocks. I mean, these are just missed assignments. This is all basically timing. Chemistry.
Some of that you can clean up, yeah.
Yeah, you can clean it up at practice. It's not a big deal, But there's really no. I can't tell of a scheme failure yet because I guess I can because the backup quarterbacks did well.
Ethan Cattleman definitely played well, very well.
Yeah. So I mean, there was. I just like the fact that this was a lot of positives, even though it didn't look like it. There were some positives in the whole scheme of things. I mean, the bottom line is that, listen, we like you said, we forced 5 turnovers. Our defense was flying around. Sonny Styles, I think, played a little bit better too. It looked like he was actually a lot quicker.
He's getting more comfortable in the defense, So yeah, you're going to see that. That's what you want to see, progression from the rookie. I didn't expect him to come in. Caesar, I didn't mean to cut you off, but I hear people saying, "Well, about Alvaro Reese and all that." Alvaro Reese is more of a defensive end. So he's looking to get pressure and sack. With Sonny, they're asking different things. I've seen when I looked back on some tape that Sonny had to cover a linebacker in space, and he did very well, which is something that none of our linebackers could do last year in space. We couldn't cover tight ends or any type of running back. So I think Sonny's going to be all right. I think Sonny's going to be okay, and the fans have been a little harsh on him in the Twitter X world, but I think Sonny has a high ceiling, and I think he's going to be okay.
Sonny is definitely a hybrid. There's no doubt. I mean, he started I hate Ohio State. I'm a Michigan fan, so I had to see this guy, my God, for years. And he started as a safety. He does well. Now they got him in closer and a linebacker. Things move quicker for him, so he's got to, get that down. But listen, the things that we have are fixable. I don't see a problem. I am worried though about JD5 not playing this last preseason because I'm like, okay, if he doesn't play, well, damn, they still got like 16 more days until the next game. So now you're talking about he's not on the field for like a month almost. So that gives me some concern. I mean, I would like to see him play a drive, or you know what, or do like when Joe Gibbs was. I mean, I'm old enough to remember Joe Gibbs. You're not getting off the field until you score a touchdown or some sort of positive play. Right. Yep. So because just like me says, I mean, it falls on JD5. Yes, it's a team game. I genuinely, I saw the tape again, the film. There's no way JD5 could have done anything on the plays that he played. I mean, you had maybe 2 seconds, to do something. I mean, it was just not enough time. But
poor execution. And that's the only way you get better with that is to play. You can practice all day, but when you got to go up against live bullets, that's where you can measure that. And that's why I would like you and me saying, I would like to see them play a series or 2. Don't give them a number. Just go out there. I need to see what I need to see. If you look good, come on out. If you don't, we're going to go another series.
I'd rather
that's
these mistakes.
Joe Gibbs did.
Yeah, I'd rather these mistakes happen now in the preseason than in during the season when it actually counts. So, granted, we don't want anybody hurt. And for anybody, any of these men that play in the NFL, this is a brutal game, and anybody get hurt, it sucks. So like when Jamar Chase, I thought was hurt the other day when he hurt himself. I thought luckily it was only a hyperextended knee. I thought it was like a torn ACL or something. But these players give their all-out maximum. The last thing you want them to be is hurt. So yeah, I don't know.
But if you're not in football shape and you're not playing, you a lot of these athletes, they have twitchy muscles, right? If it's hard to ramp up and ramp down. If you're not already playing at that high level, guess what's going to happen during the season?
That's true.
You're gonna get hurt. You're gonna get hurt. So that's my concern. Then you're trying to flip that switch to play fast, and that's disaster.
That's a valid point. I mean, the fact is that you're right. Last year we played slow too, right? As soon as we got on the field, we were behind right off the bat, and that hurt us, right? So we got to come ready to play, like you say, which I think that's what, like Miss Denise says. Does she think the defense is going to carry them through? She doesn't think so. No. I'm kind of like 50-50 as well, because we're not there yet. I think our defense is going to be way better than it was last year, but to carry us, I don't know. I think for now it's just a little bit of wishful thinking. I believe in Durante Jones' scheme. I love that it's presenting all these turnovers, but our offense is where it gets ugly. And if our offense doesn't provide enough time for our defense to be off the field, then our defense is going to be hurt.
Defense. Yeah, we'll have a worn out, tired defense.
Exactly. And our defense is not. I mean, let's just be real. Our defense is not going to shut the Eagles down. Our defense is not going to shut the Cowboys down. Our defense is not going to shut the Seattle Seahawks down. So there is no can they carry. The defense can do their job, which is to be disruptive, to be aggressive, to try to contain whoever they can contain, but they're not shutting anybody down. So the offense has got to carry its own weight. And, in terms of injuries, there are a lot of parallels between Jayden Daniels and RG3. Okay, a lot of people don't want to talk about it, but a lot of people have talked about it. What I don't want to see and what I am concerned about is Ethan Caliac-Manis becoming to Jayden Daniels what Kirk Cousins was to RG3. RG3 is not in the league. Kirk Cousins is in the league. And Kirk Cousins has been blessed with wonderful contracts. That man can get hurt and go to another team and still get a great contract. So, I mean, Ethan Caliac-Manis has shown just in this game against the Lions that he is primed and he's ready to go. He knows this is his chance. He knows this is his opportunity. And Jayden, I'm kind of picking up on what Mees referenced in terms of the lack of intensity. Now, Jayden, I think by his very nature is kind of laid back. I don't think he's a rah-rah, sis-boom-bah kind of guy. But I tell you what, with Ethan Caliac-Manis on his back, he better get some rah-rah, sis-boom-bah about him, because I can see Ethan and D'Nyce, you called him Cadillac-Manis. Okay. Cadillac might just be rolling. Okay. The Cadillac might come in rolling, and Jayden, him and his Campbell's chunky soup that he probably didn't eat enough of, that he might be stuck. He might be stuck. So I'm hoping that Jayden comes out with a lot of intensity, and I want this O-line to be solid, because what I don't want is for Jayden to feel pressured to make plays and extend drives on his own, because if he gets out there running, we know what happens when his
chances of getting hurt is much higher. Yeah.
Okay. We can talk to his elbow that tried to relocate to a different part of his body to find out what happens when he gets hit. And we don't want that.
Yeah, but I think you said it right. I mean, our offense, it begins and ends with our offensive and defensive line. And if our offensive line is not straight, I'm just not any confident at all that we're going to be able to do anything. Our first 5 games are going to be ruthless. It's going to be a team effort to beat these teams that we're going to be playing. It's and our offense, sadly, is not holding up their end of the bargain. Starting with our offensive line, and then it progresses over to Jayden, because he's limited what he can do in the seconds that he has, right? But he or they need to play, or they need to move that pocket around. They need to control that. So they need to make it where at least there's some sort of floating pocket so that Jayden can at least have some time, use his legs, decide, because the good thing is that he was constantly looking downfield, except for that one sack. Good Lord, they just, yeah. So, but yeah, I don't know. They need to do something with that offensive line. They need to figure it out. I'm sure they're going to pick up some players. Yeah, they're going to have to. They're going to pick some players after these cuts. I'm sure of it. But right now, even this pickup that we have with Humphries, I mean, I don't know. We'll see if they move him over to left guard, because I wasn't too sure about what we have at left guard now. So I don't know, man. It's our offensive line is a work in progress. I don't see us winning. I can't say how many, maybe 8 games, but with our line that we have now,
3.
and that's maybe.
You said 3.
You might be right. I don't know, but this year is definitely everyone's on the hot seat this year, right? I mean, these are the decisions that AP made. He decided to cut Tyler Biadasz, or not cut. I guess he released him. I guess so.
He released him. He got nothing for him. That was not a good business decision.
Jayden made that call.
It wasn't. Yeah, Jayden didn't do that. I mean, there's no proof of that. Everyone, when you look everywhere,
you're Rashad White for a reason.
That's
Who
all
hikes
right,
the ball
man.
to the quarterback the most?
That's all right. Listen, Mees, you can pull out the same talking points every week. I know you're gonna. It's Jayden did this.
Okay, when your team loses, you got nothing to say to me.
Jayden's gonna run to his mom.
Let me know.
That's all you're gonna say. That's all you're gonna say.
How do you look out there against the real team? How do you look?
Listen, you have
Shell shock like usual. Thank you.
You have no information.
I do have information. I mean, you have Rashad White on your team. When has he ever said in his life, I'm going to be a Commanders fan or a Commanders player?
You're not providing enough information.
And Brandon Ayuk, no other team was looking at him except your team, because your quarterback played with them in college. The same college that ran him out of town, by the way. The same college that Rashad White played at.
Your talking points are people that are not even here. And what ifs? Let's talk about what happened.
Right?
Let's talk about what. Let's talk about.
Right? Or do you need to see 0 for 1 with 1 sack again? Let me know.
Let's talk about what's happening. We're talking about last week's game to progress to the next year. We're not talking about 24 or 25.
Thank you.
But Mees did break down Jayden's performance against the Lions, and he did break down his performance in the joint practice. So even though Mees is not a fan, we have to give credit where credit is due when it comes to facts and stats, because I want to disprove what Mees says through our team's performance.
But you can't.
We can't. Right now we can't.
You couldn't do it in 2024 either. I can bring up all those games where you guys played again. You guys only remember the Lions game, but you won't remember the game after that with the biggest game.
Yeah, I know Philly game we did not play.
But what about the Steelers game and the Ravens game that you
we
guys?
Were robbed.
What about the Packers game? How come every
time the Steelers
time
game was winnable?
Hold on, Denise. She's going to bring up the same thing as last week. Go ahead. What was that? Was it about Green Bay?
It's the only thing I have. Packers. I don't. It's the only thing I need. The Packers game. How come? What happened in that game? Okay.
That was week 3 on the short week.
And somehow he was hurt after that.
Come on, man. That's old news. You said that last week. Bring something else.
All I need to say is 0 for 1 with 1 sack. 0 for 1 with 1 sack.
Bring something else, partner. Come on, man.
You lost by 30, and he's
confuse him with facts.
What else more do I need?
Confuse him with facts.
Mees, this is a new week, new lines.
So how do you look last week?
I told you, he looked like trash.
Thank you. Against the real team again. How come? And also last year when you played the Lions, all he had to do was run the ball against you in the NFC quarterfinal, semifinal game. How come they beat you guys by 22 points then? because Dan Campbell was calling the plays, not Mr. The coach for the Bears. Okay, the coach of the Bears was the OC of that game, where they threw a wide receiver pass. They threw a wide receiver pass. I never seen the Lions throw another wide receiver pass ever again.
Yeah,
I
but
think
that was
they were
against a
down by like
32nd ranked
21.
defense.
They were down
That was
21, I believe.
No, but they were So why would you throw a wide receiver pass down 21 in the biggest
They
game?
weren't trying to do anything at that
Denise,
point. They were
you're
trying to get
breaking up,
momentum.
sweetheart. We can't hear you unless I'm breaking up.
Wow.
No, Mies is right. JD5 did not look well this week, and I do think I'm kind of leaning that he should be playing. At least a drive or two, something like Mies said earlier. If I heard him correctly about getting his confidence back.
Just dominating and be like, okay, I did this to go into the regular season. That's fine. But if you guys are that scared, you're not going to play him. Look back.
And it helps to build confidence too. Yeah,
I also think that's he makes a good point regarding if you build upon that point that he's making, it's also a coaching position too, because if the coach calls the right plays or better plays, that could also help too. So
man,
I think it's a combination. I think it's a combination of everything, because Jayden, the plays are getting called, but Jayden is not doing his part, right? So
we'll just leave it at Jay didn't play well. Why do we have to blame? Like, this fan base blames everybody except him, but then they want to give him all the praise.
But you're listening.
He didn't do everything in 2024.
You're listening to only what we're not.
I understand you guys are, but even Mr. Leonard Skins right here is talking about how fantastic and how accurate he is, but he threw the ball in the dirt.
Well,
I mean, what is
I don't know. I tell you what, you put me in that line, I wouldn't be able to throw a damn thing myself, because nobody had time.
Nope.
But at least
Aiden and Caliac Manners look good though.
Well, you know what? You're right. Against the other team's lower ranked players, right? So I agree.
Did Jared Goff play Saturday?
Who?
Jared Goff.
He had no reason to.
Oh, okay. So you were also going against their not top flight players as well.
Absolutely, but by the time our third, ranked players played, this is how it happens.
So how come Jayden couldn't dominate them?
Because Jayden only played one series.
Why do you only play one series? Why do you only play one series?
That's coach's decision.
Yeah,
if he wanted to play, if he wants to play, he'll play.
The questions you ask are so novice. They're obviously coach's decision.
It's a pattern.
It's a pattern. How can you not see it?
But
it's his decision. It's his.
Since
if he wants to play, he'll
he
play.
said he's going to go with the coach.
It's simple.
So,
if he wants this guy released, he'll get released.
The players don't make that choice.
Oh, you don't think they talk to Jayden and ask him, hey, why do you think David Blau got hired? This isn't a new system. This is the same system he already knew about.
Jayden lost that power last year when he decided to stay in the game.
No, he didn't, because your fan base gives him the injury clause.
Because he lost. He came in the game.
No, he didn't. You know he didn't. Because if that was the case, we would be like, well, he might not be that guy. But your fan base doesn't see that. They just see, oh, he got hurt last year. He'll be back. D-Nice thinks they're going to be 12-5 off of 2024. It's the same thing.
I believe our issue is our line.
No, your issue is the guy who's the quarterback, the franchise player. That's your issue.
Nah,
get rid of him? Sure.
I disagree on that.
So you think our offensive line is as good as it's good? It can beat any other
It
team?
wasn't a problem last year, and it wasn't a problem in 2024. So why is it a problem now?
Because Larry Tunsil was the anchor of that line.
You have to update
and like I asked, why did you release
your
the
information.
Why'd you release the center then? If it was, if you
like
thought the whole line needed to be better, why would you release that?
That's what brings us to the question that I just asked. You have to update your information. Our offensive line, built today, not last year, not 2024, built today, is not in a position to succeed. It's just not.
Then you shouldn't have released your center then. So you guys are worse.
You're talking about last year. Let's talk about
what else do you want me to talk about? He's only played one game.
Because
for 5 minutes to do the ball in the dirt.
We'll see September
what else do you want me to bring up?
Because I'm talking about the offensive line. You keep bringing it back to Jayden Daniels.
But the offensive line's not the problem. It's the quarterback. He is the
The
problem.
offensive line is very
See,
much
I'm
the
sorry.
problem.
That's where I disagree with
Very
you.
much the
Reese.
problem.
Because you guys
Reese,
protect him so much. You guys should play offensive line for him because you protect him so much.
Reese.
You guys do everything for him instead of looking. I'm the only one who brought up he didn't look at didn't look with energy. He didn't want to
Reese,
go out
you
there and fight
know,
like a warrior.
No, I
I
agree
feel
with
you,
you on
Reese,
that,
but
Meeks.
you're losing me, man. You're losing me. You know.
Because you guys protect him. Once you guys stop protecting him, you'll see. You'll see he's not the guy you guys think he is.
You saying
Against
we're
the
bubble wrapping
Browns
him?
and the Cardinals and the
we're
1 and
gonna prove
15
you
Panthers,
wrong.
yeah, he
We're
looked
gonna
like the
prove you wrong.
guy. But against the Ravens and the Steelers and the Eagles, nah.
Well, you
He's just
know,
a regular Joe Schmo.
for the Steelers, they marked that ball wrong. That should have been a first down.
Oh,
Hey, Meeks,
well, what happened
if
in
he
the Dallas
comes
game
if he
this year
comes out and have a good season this year, would you come back
when
and
you guys
recant
lost
your
44 to the worst defense? That was actually the worst defense. Every other quarterback carved that Cowboys defense up. Your guy goes out there and runs out the game, hurt with quotation marks, hurt.
As
Meeks,
if you don't believe he was
gonna
hurt. You don't believe he was actually hurt.
We're gonna make Meeks
I
a
can't hear
believer.
anybody.
Jayden is gonna make him a believer.
Well, we'll see. No, but he brings a good points. Granted, they're a little bit old, and they keep focusing on Jayden because
Right.
apparently Jayden is the end all be all. It's not. This is a team.
He is though. He gets the most credit. Like I said.
And who cares about who gets the most credit? All quarterbacks get the most
All
credit.
quarterbacks do.
Exactly,
That's-
but they get the
that's
most
how the
blame as
NFL
well. They get
That's
the
how
most
the
blame as
NFL is
well.
built.
They get the most blame as well, except
They-
your quarterback.
They get the most credit because they're the ones that get paid the most money. They have to touch the ball every single time. The only person that touches it equally amount of time is the center. That's it. They're the face of the
And who got
franchise.
released?
Tyler Biotic.
Yeah.
The center.
And listen, I agree with you because when that release happened, that shocked me, right? You go back and you look at the film. Okay, yeah, he didn't play that well, but damn, you didn't really save that much money by getting him released. Who's to say if he would have torn his ACL with us? We don't know that, right?
Right. We don't know that. We have
We
no
don't,
idea. That's a different circumstance.
But I don't do what ifs. My life is not about what ifs. My life is about what's in front of me now. This is the problem right now. Our problem is trying to figure out our offensive line to at least buy Jayden some time. Moreover, to show you how bad the offensive line was, our running backs couldn't even run. They couldn't even run in this game. So it starts and ends with our line. If we can't stop, I think you guys were talking about earlier, our defensive line, we had to stop the running game. Again, if we don't stop the running game, that's going to open up play action pass, and they're going to eat us up alive. It starts and ends with our offense and defensive line. That's it.
That's it.
Well, I can agree.
Well,
Hey,
yeah.
man, once you look at Mommy 5, man, you'll be all right. Go see.
That's all right. I mean, look, Reese, if you can't come up with nothing new, man, you got to come up with some new stuff.
I don't. Your man proves it for me. It looks bad. Simple.
That'll change after week 1 for him.
We shall see. The future will reveal all. And either Mees is going to be right or Mees is going to be wrong. Either way, we're going to be right here on Two of a Kind discussing all of it. So I want to thank everybody for joining us tonight. I want to thank Navonda for coming, popping in to say hello. I want to thank Daryl for always being here for us and with us. I want to thank Joe Horton, 7934 for chiming in. Leonard Skins. Thank you so much for being our resident historian. And Caesar, we want to thank you very much for always coming in, chiming in, supporting us, and giving us the full picture. And Mees, we want to thank you as well, even though you are not a Commanders fan, but you are an astute observer. I will give you credit for that. You do pay attention to not only what our opponents do, but you pay attention to what the Commanders do. So we will see if your predictions about Jayden come true, although we are hoping for other results. And so with that, I'm going to close out right now. So let's do a roundabout with the panel. Starting with Caesar, since you came in last, we're going to let you go out first.
Yeah, I think sadly, again, Mees hit the spots. We did not look well. JD5 did not look well. It looks like we're still learning our offensive scheme, but we actually got to take out some trash this week after seeing our defensive players. So we got to make some cuts. I mean, I think we all saw Will Harris play like trash, and he gladly got escorted out. So we're going to be doing better. It's going to be week by week. We're going to see what this week brings. Even in practice today, I heard it's not doing well. Again, our offensive line was not. They were just like a Swiss cheese. Everybody was meeting Jayden Daniels in the backfield at practice today. So, that's my primary concern, and only concern is our offensive line. That's it.
It was a meet and greet party. That's what it seemed like.
True indeed. True indeed.
Okay, and your next, Mees. I know Mees has something to say.
Is it my turn?
Yes, your turn, Mees.
Okay. Sorry, I'm a little bit delayed and I can't hear anybody except Caesar. So, like I said, James is not. If he does not play next week, he will not be ready. It will not be good week 1 and that stuff. And I'm not sure what this practice stuff is. I mean, they don't do anything in practice. They stand literally against ghost and thin air with T-shirts and shorts, and he stands back there and plays one-on-one with the wide receiver in the corner. So I'm not sure what this O-line stuff is, but you did release your center. He made that call. So, hey, that's on him and, the front office. Now, like I said, I don't think you guys are going to be good this year. Caligmanis might be the guy. But my last question is to D'Nyce and Denise. What's your advice to Jayden? Okay, because he's going through a rough time. All right, he looks bad. The media has turned on him very badly. The only people that defend him now is your fan base. There is no he got hurt, he'll be fine. They're like, look, this guy is not the guy we thought he was. He's suing his former school. Where's his head at? He's running behind his mom. His mom's running things. What is your advice to Jayden before week 1 or even throughout the season? What's your advice for him to be successful?
My best advice for him, Mees, is to keep the outside noise outside. Don't let none of that stay in between the ears. Stay focused. Stay committed to what's at the task at hand, and that's going out to the 2026 season for the Washington Commanders and having a good season. So if he can keep that outside noise and all the distractions away, that will be my advice. Keep the outside noise outside.
My advice to him would be to keep working on his body, to make it bigger, to make it thicker, to make it more durable. And my advice to him, it would be also, I realize you're from California, but he needs some more intensity. He needs to have that anger. He needs to have that heightened energy, because as he goes, so goes the team. And if Jayden is all laid back, grinning and smiling and acting like, oh, everything's all right, and all I have to do is worry about me and all that, we've got to 5-12 with that. So I need to see a new, like Patti LaBelle said, ooh, I need a new attitude. So I need to see something different coming from him in terms of his energy, and he can work on his body. He's young. He has a thin frame, but I have seen men reshape their bodies in the gym. D'Nyce, you're there. You see it happening too. So, it can happen. So that would be my advice to him. Work on your body to be sturdy and get some anger and some fire up under you to propel this team forward. That would be my advice to him, because he has the X's and O's. He has the basics. He has the skill set, but he just needs that extra push to get him over the hump and to drag this team over the hump with him.
Yeah, they got to stay healthy. That's it. He can have all that all in one, but the main thing is staying healthy. The best ability is availability.
Yes, and Kirby, we will wrap it up with you.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, my opinion is that one's attitude determines their altitude, and all JD5 and the entire team have to do is keep it inside the locker room, because they know what they're capable of doing, and I'm satisfied with what they've done in the preseason. I'm satisfied that JD5 has the timing down with his receivers. I think he's going to light it up against Philly. And I'm not one to throw the baby away. I'll throw the dirty bathwater away. So what we got to do is stop listening to negative people that want to just slander somebody, you know, for no reason, no proof, and you know, talk a bunch of negative crap. But anyway, we just we're gonna go into Philly and we're gonna kick the ass. It's just that simple.
Well, that's
Plain
a
and
great
simple.
note to end on. That is a great note to end on. So I want to thank everyone for joining us. Thank you so very much. And D'Nyce, we did sign DJ Humphries as
Humphries,
a
yes.
new offensive tackle. We gave him a 1-year contract. So I hope with him being in the mix, you know, to address this O-line, I hope that he can bring his veteran experience in. Although I probably would not have chosen him because, you know, I hear Dan Quinn talk about depth. You know, we got him for depth, and you know, but we're 5-12. Well, we were last season 5-12.
Mhm.
We need some dynamic players to come in. So I'm not impressed with depth at this point, because depth is what you build under dynamic players. We don't have
Mhm.
the dynamic players to be talking about depth. We need some guys out front who can make moves and who can execute, who can you know, make some great plays. And then we can deal with depth, you know, if we're faced with more injuries and such. So, you know, I'm hoping DJ Humphries will be a good addition to the team. I'm being positive. I'm being optimistic. But that is pretty much it for me, except for I do want to end on a positive burgundy and gold note. Today is National Dog Day. And our Washington Commanders dog is TJ. TJ is a yellow golden Labrador retriever. And TJ is the 2026 official dog of our Washington Commanders. You see him looking so beautiful right there. He's in training to be a service dog. He is working with the Maryland nonprofit Warrior Canine Connection to be a service dog for veterans. This is part of our Wounded Warrior project kind of thing. So there is beautiful TJ in his photo shot for National Dog Day. So
Shout out to TJ. Shout out to
TJ,
TJ.
TJ's looking good, looking good. And so before we close out, though, I do want to take a brief moment to pay tribute to the late, great Dolly Parton. May she rest in peace. Dolly Parton was born in 1946. She passed in this year, 2026. She passed yesterday at the age of 80. She had a battle with cancer. Dolly Parton was an extraordinary singer, songwriter, actress, and philanthropist. She did so much good. And because she was loved by so many all around the world, many people are paying tribute to Dolly Parton. Many celebrities, many institutions, nations all around the world. President Trump has ordered all flags to be flown at half staff for an entire week in honor of the legend that is Dolly Parton. So, on behalf of Two of a Kind Sports, I would like to extend our sincerest condolences and our deepest sympathy to her family, to her friends, to all who are mourning the loss of the legendary Dolly Parton. May she rest in peace. And we want to thank you for joining us tonight. D'Nyce, hit us with what you normally tell us.
What I normally always say, at this hard times that we have, love someone, hug someone. I'm going to see you next week on Two of a Kind Sports, where passion meets the game. Make sure you hit that bell icon. You smash that like button. Follow us on all socials at Two of a Kind Sports. And I'm going to see you next week. Till the next time.
That's right. We are on Instagram. We are on TikTok. We are right here at YouTube. And we are everywhere you want to find us at Two of a Kind Sports. So be sure to follow us and keep up with what we have going on. We will be back next week, Wednesday, 8:30, going live. So thank you very much for joining us now. And we look forward to you joining us then. And as my mom always says, keep love alive 365. So thank you so much for joining us tonight, and we look forward to seeing you again next time. Thank you for joining us here on Two of a Kind Sports. It is the show where passion meets the game. Have a good one.